Hey everyone, down here in the cave. This is my first YouTube video of my 120 gallon reef tank. The purpose of me creating these videos is solely to provide my own personal adventure with the reef tank since day one, and it has been a bumpy ride. Although I started documenting specifically late on my specific tank, I plan on getting you guys caught up step by step, day by day, hour by hour of what I have gone through. Now remember, I am no professional biologist by any means. I'm just one of you sharing everything I have found since I stepped my own foot into this amazing hobby. Alright guys, the first thing I want to talk about is choosing the right tank for you. There are many key factors to consider, but this is a very important decision in which you want to make the right decision first, because in the long run it will really help you out. A couple key factors are safe location for the tank, preferably out of sunlight from the windows and whatnot. An accessible location that you can actually get the tank and the stand to within your house. Electric outlets are obviously an important factor, which need to be plentiful. And you want to have a solid idea of exactly what you want out of your own saltwater reef tank. Keep in mind, saltwater reef tanks generally fill up quickly. I would even say that a 90 gallon is a small tank. To me, when I started with a 90 gallon reef tank. It filled up very quickly and I was very unhappy. And because of this, I decided to upgrade to this 120 gallon saw, and I've been more than happy. The only downfall with me having to make my mind up to change to this 120 gallon is the fact that I had to move all the thriving coral from the 90 gallon to this 120 gallon, which for a couple months stressed my coral out greatly, as well as my livestock. When I first stepped my foot into this hobby, I'm not gonna lie, I went pretty skimpy on the very important things that run a healthy reef tank. That being said, my protein skimmer. I had a 90 gallon tank and I went with a 75 gallon rated protein skimmer. Also, I did start out with a T5 system. They're good. It's a good lighting system, depending on what brand you go with. But later on, I upgraded to a Photon 48, which is a Reef Breeder's LED full setup. And I also went with an ASM G4 350 plus gallon protein skimmer for my 120 gallon tank. Once I included these pieces of equipment within my setup, I noticed a tremendous difference. I plan on having very delicate coral in my tank, and clean water is a very important part to keep my corals happy. To put a little more focus on your lighting system, purchasing an LED lighting system was by far my best decision. In short, this light really brought a ton of growth and color to my corals. The T5 fixture that I used to have never could do this. Everything looked dull versus my LED system. I absolutely love it. Not to mention the difference you'll see within your tank because of the light. You'll also see a difference in your electric bill. I noticed about a $25 difference every month. Okay guys, this is my 30 gallon refugium. I have just recently gotten done actually putting this thing together. Originally it was just a wet dry system. As you can see, I got the first chamber, which is the return for my display tank. This chamber is filled up with lots of crushed coral, crushed rock. The chamber comes up here, lets the water, come up into this chamber, which is strictly for my protein skimmer. And my dog's gonna walk in front of us. Hey bud. Okay, so this chamber is strictly for my protein skimmer, which is my massive 350 rated protein skimmer. This thing does a tremendous job. The cup's about, I'd say almost a quarter full, and I just emptied it this morning. Okay, after that, we got the refugium. I decided to go with the refugium because I wanted a more natural way to pull out any type of nitrates and nasties out of the tank, which the Kato will do, and algae for that matter. So after the refugium section, it just overflows into my return pump. I use some loofahs, as you guys can see. I really hate micro bubbles in my system, and I got this thing dialed in so well, the protein skimmer, that I really didn't want to touch it anymore, but it was producing some micro bubbles. So what I did was I just put some loofahs around it on the top of the water to collect the bubbles before they went into the refugium chamber. It works out great. I think loofahs are amazing. They're easy to clean, pull them out, throw them in the washer, pull them out. They dry extremely fast. Never had an issue with them. So, and I am using an extra LED light. This is a little overkill for a algae refugium with Kato. This thing would run a Reef tank, but I just had it laying around, and I just have it on about 30% right now. And I run this 24 hours a day until my Kato gets big enough to where I'm happy with it. Okay everyone, that's all for this video. I hope you stay tuned. I'm going to try my best to keep making videos to help you guys out with at least what I've done and seen within my tank. This video was basically just to get you guys familiar with me and familiar with my tank and what I got in it. So stay in touch.